let's talk feet, footwear. Okay, so what you want to concentrate on when you're talking about footwear with metalwork is you're going to talk about high heat and you want to have the best protection for your feet, obviously. So when you are doing any kind of metalwork, especially stuff with spatter flying out of the weld zone and pretty much continuously as you're welding, you're going to want to stay away from any kind of tennis shoes with synthetic materials. This mesh here is nylon, spandex, could be neoprene. This stuff will actually melt, and it'll melt right through your foot. It melts at a very low temperature and it'll basically burn you. Sometimes if it's hot enough, you get a big chunk of spatter, lands right on top of that mesh. What is it gonna do? Well, it's basically gonna liquefy so fast it'll actually fuse with your skin, and then you have to cut it out with a razor and then go to the hospital. You don't want that. Never wear these kinds of tennis shoes when you are welding. If you're gonna wear some kind of tennis shoes, there's a wide variety of companies that make tennis shoes specifically designed for industrial applications such as welding. These are really good ones. These are my summer shop shoes. They have steel toed, but they're also low top. They're all leather. There's no synthetic materials. When you're talking about synthetic materials, shoes can be made of synthetic materials. Just make sure that the synthetic material is specifically designed for high temperatures and projectiles, so on and so forth. You don't want to burn your feet. Now, if you're talking about a boot without steel toe, you are working in a heavy industrial environment when you're doing any kind of metal work. So if you think that a piece of sheet metal isn't going to hurt your foot, try a half sheet of like 18 gauge. A half sheet of 18 gauge, if you're carrying it around, you drop it on your foot, it's pretty likely that you're going to either at least break one of your toes. So it's a good idea to have steel toes. You can wear the non-steel toed boot or shoe in your shop, but make sure you're not heavy lifting. Okay. Now, going further, I normally wear steel-toed boots when I'm doing any kind of metalwork. Anytime I'm in my shop, you want to make sure that the bottom of the soles isn't going to allow you to burn through. Tennis shoes, once again, have a very thin sole. So if you make a mistake, you burn through on some thicker material, you can actually step in that hot piece of spatter or liquid material and it'll burn right through your shoe. So make sure the sole is actually thick enough where it's not going to hurt you. Then you can graduate to something like this. Now these guys here, this is a tarsal and metatarsal protection. So these actually have a metatarsal, that's the top part of your foot, and then a tarsal, your toes. These will protect both of these areas. These will be great if you're going on to really heavy industrial welding or even foundry work. That's a very good boot. I normally will wear the boots that I'm wearing now, which are just steel-toed and all leather. So that's pretty much it. Just wear the right shoe for the job. Make sure that you're not wearing any synthetic material on your feet, because there's going to be a lot of sparks and spatter falling to your feet, and that's the most likely place that you will catch fire, basically. So want to eliminate that factor altogether.